It is essential that every teacher teaches and assesses at all the cognitive levels. This is going to ensure that the learners get a full understanding of the subject and a good chance of performing well. If we have a look at the 3 cognitive levels, the lowest level, or the low order thinking, is knowledge and facts. We want the learners to know the facts and have the knowledge. From there, we want them to develop a good understanding and be able to reason, and that is your middle order thinking. And then, of course, your highest order of thinking is your metacognition and judgment. Now, in history, these 3 levels are divided up into a percentage weighting, and this will determine how much of the assessments should be set at this level. But even more importantly, it gives us as teachers a guide to how much time we should be spending in class developing these cognitive skills in our teaching. Now, if we have a look at the basic skills, the basic thinking skills we should be spending 30% of our time on. Analyze and interpreting should be 40%. And then, of course, your highest order thinking, your evaluating and synthesizing, should be another 30%. Now, remember, this is for the amount of time in teaching that we should also spend developing these skills. Now, let's have a look at how does this specifically relate to source-based questions. 30% of the time, we should be developing the learner's abilities to extract evidence. 40% of the time should be dedicated to skills such as explaining historical concepts, straightforward interpretation of the sources, possibly what is being said by the author or creator of the source, and then also allowing the learners to compare information in sources. And then, of course, another 30% is at your highest order, which is where we want the learners to interpret and evaluate information and data from the sources. We want them to engage with questions of bias, reliability, and usefulness of sources, and we also want them to be able to compare and contrast interpretations and perspectives within the sources and by other authors of sources. So we need to remember this when we're teaching, that these skills need to be developed and we need to spend the appropriate amount of time on them. And of course, ensuring that all our assessments have the correct balance of skills and the right proportions of the different levels. And we need to remember to include this in both our teaching and assessment, because that is going to make all the difference in the learner's final examination, because they will have had practice on the different levels and have the necessary skills to answer the high order thinking questions.